Welcome to the complete animation of Rama from the animated adaptation of the Rodgers and Hammerstein, whatever, musical The King and I. So this is a really interesting movie. And it is not a movie that I think I could recommend to anybody, but it's also not the kind of movie that I would say that if someone was interested in watching it, I would try to dissuade them from it. It really varies wildly in its quality. And a bunch of the problems that this movie has comes from really weird pacing and like secondary animal slash sidekick character decisions. So I don't remember much of The King and I. I've never actually seen the entirety of the original film, and I only saw the stage play adaptation when one of my siblings was in high school and I went to see that. So I don't remember much of it, but from what I remember, I don't think that the source material was all that good. Rodgers and Hammerstein musicals often aren't very good. Like the movie Carousel, holy freaking cow, that movie is not very good. Like it has one song that ended up being like a hit single, but then the rest of the movie just isn't very good, and like had like a whole thing about like trying to justify domestic abuse. Yeah, I don't like Carousel. And I also don't like State Fair. And State Fair didn't even really have any good songs in it. So yeah, Rodgers and Hammerstein isn't that good. Probably their best movie by far is The Sound of Music. And even that one, I've never actually seen all of it. And a big thing about the Rodgers and Hammerstein musicals is they are often long. They are not, short and sweet. And so when you come here to the King and I, this animated version, the original movie, I think is over 3 hours long. It's a long movie. Around 3 hours. But this animated adaptation is less than an hour and a half. So at least the pacing is there, but it's like the parts of the animated movie that actually are the adaptation parts, I think are the strongest parts of the movie. And all of this other stuff that they added in is so... I don't like it. I don't know if I can say that it's bad, but I can say that I don't like it. And the things that I'm specifically talking about are a bunch of the secondary and sidekick characters. Like the little monkey character who hangs around with the teacher's son. Or the weird villain guy who has a sidekick, who is this short, fat guy who keeps losing teeth. I really don't understand who thought that that would be a good part of the movie, because from my very vague memories about the parts of the movie I've seen, and my very vague memories of the stage play adaptation, I don't remember there being an evil guy. And I certainly don't remember the evil guy having a sidekick who keeps losing teeth. But then, there's this character, the subject of this video, the Black Panther Rama, who I also don't think is in the original, but actually does do a pretty good job of being just an extra character who is competent. It's like Rama is basically, the palace pet and is a cat who ends up acting more like a dog. And in that role, does a really good job. And also just has a really solid design. Like, if you're gonna have a character, you should at least have the character look good. And this Black Panther does look really good. And yeah, so one of the other big problems that this animated adaptation has is the songs. Not because the songs themselves are super bad, but because they don't let the songs speak for themselves. It's like they keep smothering the songs in a bunch of stuff that just doesn't work right. Like the song Getting to Know You, that's an alright song, but while the song is going, they just had this constant ruckus accompanying it, where the fat guy who keeps losing teeth keeps on like trying to sabotage their everything that's happening, and it just doesn't work. And then also the very first song where they're on the ship. It's like whoever did the audio mixing of that, it's like we need to let the waves and the ocean take center stage, and the fact that a musical number is going on. Ugh. So I'm pointing out a lot of negative things, but like overall, this movie wasn't that bad. I think it did a lot of what it did was about as much as it could do given the source material. But then it also couldn't help but mess up its own pacing. So, yeah, this movie is interesting, and it's also fraught with early poor CGI. It's like everywhere that there is CGI, especially for like, vehicles and whatever, it sticks out like a sore thumb. I really wish that this movie would have just ignored any and all CGI vehicles. Yes, it's really hard to hand draw vehicles like ships and hot air balloons and have them, move around, but I think that you could either get rid of them or do them the right way. But this movie, I will say that I think that the worst part of the movie that I think was actually in the original is the whole relationship between the servant girl and the prince. That whole part of the story, I didn't like it. So yeah, the King and I animated version, I would say watch it if you want to, but you're not missing out if you skip it. Thanks for watching.